Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash. But honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone for teaching us his truth. Salutations to the sincere Akim and Aqua that may listen. May the blessing of election be over your house. My name is Brother Raquai. I'm back in here with another quick and hopefully Yahweh Ratazah an edifying lesson. And for today's lesson, it was an article that I came across real quickly on earlier today as I was watching the Elder Yashawamba's News and Prophecy. Right, so I just wanted to expound on this particular article, and Yahweh Ratazah, this would be an edifying lesson. Right, so without further ado, I am going to jump right in. Oh, and the title for the lesson is, as it reads, YT, which is just YouTube, attempts to block medical information, right? So here's the article I found. Just give me 1 second. So here it says, YouTube starts mass takedowns of videos promoting harmful or ineffective cancer cures, right? So let's see below here, and it reads the following. YouTube will remove content that promotes cancer treatments proven to be harmful or ineffective, or which discourages viewers from seeking professional medical treatment, the video platform announced today. The enforcement comes as YouTube is attempting to streamline its medical moderation guidelines based on what is learned while attempting to tackle medical misinformation around topics as so-and-so, and reproductive health, right? Going forward, Google's video platform says it will apply its medical misinformation policies when there is a high public health risk, when there is publicly available guidance from health authorities, and when a topic is prone to misinformation. YouTube hopes that this policy framework will be flexible enough to cover a broad range of medical topics while finding a balance between minimizing harm and allowing debate, right? So, I think that's I don't think that's the end, right? Okay, so essentially, I want to continue reading on, but I just want to interject really quickly that, essentially what they want to do is to actually, they want to prevent people from actually trying to seek more, I hate to say the word alternative, but other routes of treating particular diseases, right? And there was a huge how would you call that, wave of information that started coming out when they began to promote their serpent's juice, and mandating the serpent's juice, right? If you catch what I'm saying, right? And a lot of information now is even coming out, even at those funeral homes where the people are dressing the bodies, and they actually are noticing when they realize a lot of these people are no longer alive. They notice when they do the autopsy. There's been several reports of a lot of these people have been finding these long rubbery clots of blood within their bloodstream, right? So this is the result of taking this serpent's juice, right? So what I want to do is bring in a couple precepts and realizing true healing actually starts with this word, right? And as a matter of fact, hang on, since I said that, I don't have this on the list, but let me just bring it out. Okay, this is Ephesians 5 verse 26, and it reads that he might sanctify and cleanse it with the washing of water by the word, right? So it's the word is the one thing that's actually cleansing us, right? And and a lot of our people think that when they get healing, the healing comes from an actual bathing and going to the church and so on and so forth, right? So that's one of the things I wanted to tackle with this lesson, as well as the this blocking of medical misinformation, because we know that Yahweh Bashim Yahushai has created medicines out of the earth, right? But because we're living under an unrighteous rulership, he cares more about profit over the people, right? So since I said that, let's go to Sirach, and then I'm going to continue reading. Okay, this is Sirach, or Ecclesiasticus, chapter 38. I'm going to start at verse 1, and it reads, "Honor a physician with the honor due unto him for the uses which ye may have of him. For the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushai hath created him." Verse 2, "For of the Most High Yahweh cometh healing," right? And that's one of the reasons I wanted to bring out Ephesians, because the healing really and truly, first starts with this word, right? But because this lesson is mostly specific, geared towards medicine, I'm just it trickles down into that as well, right? And verse 2, I'm just going to read verse 2 again, and it reads, "For of the Most High Yahweh cometh healing, and he shall receive honor of the king. The skill of the physician shall lift up his head, and in the sight of great men he shall be in admiration." And it points in verse 4. "The Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushai hath created medicines out of the earth, and he that is wise will not abhor them," right? So, just to bring out the point that, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai has created these natural medicines out of the earth, and, these are things like even, very, very simple ingredients to treat certain things, right? Like I grew up in the islands, and we don't go to, like, when we were sick, and when we go to the when we're sick or anything like that, we don't go to the, how do you call it, like the pharmacy, which just means witchcraft. We don't go to the pharmacy. Our elders within the family, parents, they always had some kind of plant, some kind of our bush, something, whether it's some kind of spice as well, that's actually used to as a remedy to treat certain ailments, right? For example, I'm just going to use a common example. Like, we used to use the peel of an orange, and we used to dry the peels, and the peels, are good for boosting Slakia, the immune system, right? So that was one of the things that our parents, used to do, and that's very, very common, in the islands, right? We don't have all these different pharmacies with all these different medicines and all these Tylenol and Advil and so on and so forth, right? And like, when you take these things, you take it with discretion, but the point that I'm trying to bring out in the fact of this lesson is, the Most High created natural remedies out of the earth, right? So that is the really driving force that I wanted to bring this home. But because we live in an unrighteous king, the unrighteous king Esau and these elites, starting with these elites like the Rockefellers, that really want to do away with essentially natural remedies, and bring forth his own perverse form of medicine. It doesn't actually heal you. It's more, the intended use is to have you keep coming back and buying more. It's more about profit as opposed to your healing and your development, right? So this is Ecclesiasticus again, chapter 10, verse 1, and it reads, "A wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered. As the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers. And what manner of man, this ruler of the city, such are that they that dwell therein." Verse 3, and here's the point. "An unwise king destroyeth his people. Through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited," right? So we're living under the rulership that we're currently on in Babylon the Great is under an unwise king, a foolish king, a perverse king. This man is not really about actually trying to issue forth that righteousness. However, is to actually issue forth wickedness, a perverse sacrifice, right? This is not about actually, it's going a contrast to the ways of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, right? Let's get Matthew. Okay, this is Matthew chapter 9. I want to start at verse 10. "And it came to pass, as Yahushua sat at meat in the house, and behold, many publicans and sinners came and sat down with him and his disciples." Verse 11, "When the Pharisees saw it, they said unto the disciples, Why eateth your master with publicans and sinners?" But when Yahushua heard that, he said unto them, "They that be whole need not a physician, but they that are sick. But go ye and learn what that meaneth." Yahushua said, "I will have mercy and not sacrifice, for I have not come to call the righteous, but sinners to repentance." Right. So, this is the purpose of Yahushua and his journey, and as part of his ministry was to actually issue forth those, show that, that be that example of showing a, mercy, as well as for just to, stay in alignment with the topic of this lesson was to actually be, somebody who is actually issue forth healing as well. Right. Because, as a people, as Israelites, we fell away from our customs, and we fell away, because we were taken over by, at the time, it was the Romans were in power, but before that was the Greeks, and we have put, during the time of the Maccabees, our people were Hellenized, and they became like Greeks. They took on those Greekish customs and ways, right? So, and our people mentally became sick, right? So this is the spiritual sickness, and this continues to this day, because our people are following these other different philosophies and thinking that this will give them some kind of healing and some kind of comfort, but they're still, in disarray in their mind, right? Because that there's a hole missing in them, right? Let's get Let's see. This is Isaiah chapter 1, verse 5. Why should ye be stricken any more? Ye will revolt more and more. The whole head is sick, and the whole heart faint. From the sole of the foot even unto the head, there is no soundness in it, right? So there's no soundness in our nation's minds, right? We're a fatherless nation, and we've taken on these customs of these different heathens, right? You know, with wounds and bruises, putrefying sores that have not been closed up, neither bound or mollified with ointments. And the real healing really and truly starts with Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, knowing his name and being clothed so you can be bounded up, right? Bounded up as a nation, right? So as a matter of fact, let's end off that. Okay, this is Acts chapter 3, verse 1, and it reads, Now Peter and John went up together into the temple, and then at the hour of prayer, being the 9th hour, and a certain man lame from his mother's womb, so essentially he was crippled, was carried, whom they laid daily at the gate of the temple, which is called Beautiful, to ask alms of them and that entered into the temple. Who, seeing Peter and John about to go into the temple, asked an alms. And Peter, fastening his eyes upon him with John, said, Look on us. And he gave heed unto them, expecting to receive something of them. And Peter said, Silver and gold have I none. So Peter said he doesn't have any of that money, right? But such as I have give I thee. In the name of Yahushua HaMashiach of Nazareth, rise up and walk. Verse 7, and he took him by the right hand and lifted him up, and immediately his feet and his ankle bones received strength. The man, leaping up, stood and walked and entered with them into the temple, walking and leaping and praising the Most High Yahweh. And all the people saw him walking and praising the Most High Yahweh, right? So this is just an account of the power that was given unto the disciples and later became apostles, to be able to actually issue forth that healing, right? And this is the thing that our nation really and truly needs, right? That healing ultimately first starts with this word, and eventually it becomes understanding the culture and knowing who you are and knowing that it's medicines, and eventually, actually being comforted, right? So, so anyways, I know I kind of jumped about, with this lesson. I didn't finish the article, but I can link it in the description. But hopefully, this video was edifying, and I just like to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, Bashem Rakakadash. The honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone for teaching us this truth. Till next time, I say Shalom.